It's time for another Wild Time to let you know what we've been up to and where we're at. We're at Picacho Peak State Park, just north of Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, it's been a really wet winter here in the Southwest, and so now the wildflowers are really going crazy. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's very stunning, and when we're done talking with you, we're going to go take some pictures of them.
Unfortunately, what we've been doing is being sick.
Yeah, we've been asked if we get sick more since we've been full-time RVing than we did when we were stationary at our house. We've been doing this for about 4 years now, so I think we've got a good sampling of whether we do or not. And I'm going to say that we do, or at least I do. I know I do. And I'm going to say that that's primarily because I'm around far more people now than I was when we were at our house.
Yeah, we worked at home and didn't really
get out among big crowds a lot other than when we were speaking engagements and things like that. But yeah, it's definitely been a little bit challenging at times, just being around so many people when they're ill.
Yeah, and being sick when you live in an RV is a little bit more challenging than when you're living in a house. For instance, when I get sick, I just want to go to bed and sleep and just have quiet. And when you're in an RV, if one person is sick and the other's not, they're still going to be walking around or doing dishes or cooking or whatever they're going to do and making noise. So it's a little more difficult to get peace and quiet to get well. And then also, you know, taking a long hot steam shower always feels really good when you're not feeling well. And unfortunately, in an RV with a limited hot water available, you can't really do that. So it's definitely a little bit more challenging, even if you're stationary, to be sick in an RV.
Yeah, and being on the road when you're sick is not unlike a mechanical breakdown of sorts, because it could really set you back with plans and reservations, all sorts of things. But in some ways, you know, it could be better, because if you don't really have to be anywhere, you can just go somewhere and camp it out until it's over with. But if you have made, you know, reservations and plans and stuff, it could be a little bit disconcerting. But I guess that would be the same if you were in a house. In that respect, you could definitely miss out on things if you're sick at home.
It would, you know, it can cost you money if you end up having to see a doctor or go to urgent care or something like that. But you know, if you're, you know, missing destinations that you plan to be at a certain time or have reservations, it can definitely be, you know, put a little monkey wrench into your plans.
Well, for us, you know, it has set us back on a few things, certainly making videos and stuff like that, because we were completely incapacitated as far as talking and being presentable there for a while. You know, I'm still battling with it a little bit, and it's probably because I'm in the middle of a super bloom here in the desert. It's just unprecedented wildflowers and pollen right now.
It's making the allergies really, really bad this year because of it, but it's really beautiful.
Yes.
So it's no fun to be sick anytime, but being sick, living and traveling in an RV is maybe it's a little bit worse.
Yeah, at times it could be. Another thing we've been doing is traveling a little bit without the RV. And that's really not a big deal, because it's just for a few days here and there. And that brings up the issue that people raise sometimes about how do you drive that RV around in these places that you go and see and things like that. Well, we actually don't take our fifth wheel and drive around in Yellowstone or any place like that. We simply park at a nearby place, immerse ourselves in the local area, someplace that we think that would be nice to explore, and then we either take the shuttle, whatever transportation's available in the national park or at that attraction, or we'll take a car or a truck, and that gets us around, and we do these excursions. And I just think that sometimes you know, having RVs in some of these places is very limiting. In fact, a lot of places don't want any size RV in them. So yeah, anyway, we decided we'd go on a little excursion with family for spring break, and we went in my sister's car and we drove to Southern California, and we stayed with family at a hotel and had a family event at a few of the attractions in Southern California.
one of the places that we visited was SeaWorld. And after we talk about the places that we went, we'll share some tips that we hope might be helpful. Now, SeaWorld has changed a lot in the last 20 years, I'd say, because I think that was the last time we were there, was 20 years ago.
That was a little big.
Yeah. They have a lot more rides and attractions, as well as the animal shows. But the big exciting ride that they had was the electric eel roller coaster, a real heart pounder. And I used to love roller coasters, but like I said, haven't been any place like this in a long time, and almost talked myself out of doing it, but I went for it. We thought it better for Bernie not to with his back issues, but I bit the bullet and went on the electric eel, and it was a lot of fun, but it was really scary.
Hey, it was a little terrifying holding the camera and stuff at times. I mean, I could have been hurt.
Yeah, it was fun though. Loved the orcas and.
Yeah, the shows were really neat for me. I mean, I just really like hearing about them and stuff. I'm not too much into tricks and all that kind of stuff that animals do in those situations, but I do like hearing about, you know, the nature of the animals and stuff like that, and I especially like the sea lion show. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was really cute.
we thought that was good, and yeah, Susan and the rest of the family spent a lot of time on the rides too. I went on a few of them, but mostly just kind of stayed back and filmed and watched the backpacks and things like that, and you know, it was okay for me to do that. I wasn't feeling very well anyway. I was still quite sick.
So yeah, and then another place that we went was Legoland, which we've never been there. Obviously it's for geared towards a little bit younger age group than us, but we do have family that really enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun to be able to share that with them.
Yeah, I enjoyed it myself. I mean, it's you know, I don't necessarily play with Legos or anything like that anymore, you know. At least I don't like to talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was very interesting just to see that they build like scale models of cities out of
incredible.
The Legos, and the detail was just stunning. I mean, they'd have different places like San Francisco and New Orleans and New York. They did that, and Washington D.C. A lot of things of Washington D.C. You know, the Capitol and the White House, and it was just quite a lot of detail, and there were some interesting rides. We were able to go into a little submarine ride there that actually had live sharks swimming around. We went that shark, what was it called? Shark with the tunnel.
Oh, that was at SeaWorld.
Oh, was that SeaWorld? Well, back at SeaWorld we went through a shark thing, but that was kind of neat, the shark tunnel. Yeah. And then we did see sharks at Legoland too. So
it was a lot of fun.
So we were able to glean a few insights from this. Nothing very profound or anything like that, and so, not necessarily something that we didn't know, but there were things that we were glad that we had with us. Well, first up is something that I shouldn't have had with me, and I did have a pocket knife that I carry, and the little clip that holds it in my pocket was kind of showing a little bit, and the security going into Legoland asked me to either turn it over to them or take it back to the vehicle, so I took it back to the vehicle. It was just an oversight. I carry it all the time. I don't have any problem with not having it on me, so I just took it back, apologized, and we went on with our day. Another thing that I thought was probably a good thing to have around was a sit pad, and I had to do a little bit of sitting, and some of the shows and things that you watch in some of these parks, you know, it's just kind of nice to have an inflatable sit pad, or just some type of sit pad that you don't mind carrying with you. Just it helps when it's wet or cold or hot or just uncomfortable. Yeah,
and speaking of wet or cold, another thing that you might want to stuff in your backpack is a little disposable poncho. Particularly depending on what time of year it is. We had just one little rain shower that we had to deal with, but it was really nice to just be able to pull out a poncho and go on our way.
I liked having it, and I always carry one because I carry camera equipment, and it allows me to just put that very thin poncho over top of my backpack and over top of the camera, and it's just quick and easy, and it packs away down to nothing, just like size of a deck of cards. And so very
really
convenient.
saves the camera equipment for sure. Another thing is to bring water. Bring your own water with you. Most of these places, that's the only thing that they're going to allow you to bring is maybe baby food or something like that, and then just water. They want you to eat in their location, which is a little bit unfortunate because the food is usually really expensive and not that great.
Yeah, the expense I can almost understand in some of the places that are trying to raise money for the attractions and for the animals and things like that, but I mean, I really wish they could spend a little bit of time getting and preparing better food, but that's the whole nother issue. But anyway, yeah, it's definitely good to read up on the websites to find out what they'll allow in the park, and if there's anything by way of snacks, make sure you bring them, if they allow that.
Yeah, one thing that we did was to order a kids meal for lunch, because they're usually about half the price of an adult meal, and they'll come with a drink and usually some type of fruit. So and that could be enough to get you through till dinner time, when you can leave the park and do something else. But yeah, think about just ordering a kids meal, or you can also, a lot of the parks will have picnic areas outside of the park so that you can bring a lunch. Unfortunately, that's going to take a lot of time. Probably you're going to have to walk out to your car, get your lunch, bring it back, take the cooler back. And depending on what your day is looking like, that might be too much of a time restriction for you to do that. But there's definitely some ways to get around the food situation.
Right. So as far as what we're going to be up to, we are hoping that our trend of getting better here, getting over this allergies or whatever's been plaguing us, is on. We hope that trend is continuing. And we have quite a few more videos that we want to get done in the coming weeks here in the desert Southwest before we head out to probably cooler places at that time. Still not quite sure about the route and anything and all those types of details, but that'll be forthcoming.
Yeah. But for now, we're going to go take some pictures of the wildflowers.
Yeah, we hope to get some good ones. And keep in mind, if we don't make a video for a week or two, we might just be sick, or we might be bogged down with work and speaking engagements or things like that. So just hang in there and we'll get a video out just as soon as we possibly can.
And don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe.
Thanks for watching. We thought we'd show you around our new RV park that we plan on staying at.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.